Hey guys and girls, it's Philip McKernan. I'm standing on top of a hill. I was going to say a mountain, but we know lots of people who live right next to massive mountains, so they'd probably laugh at me. So it's interesting. I was just chatting. It's not a new message necessarily, but it's a message that's stringed together with another, I suppose, invitation or possibility. So those of you who know me very well, or those of you who've been to Brave Soul or Brave Heart, you know where I'm standing. This little tiny valley on Ireland's west coast, and many of you know that that's the family behind me here. Many of you know that I've been trying to buy a property in this little valley, which is about 5 kilometers in length and about, I'm guessing, a kilometer, maybe 2 kilometers in width. I've been trying to buy a property here for the last 6 to 7 years. I had an offer in on a few different small cottages, etc. But long story short, a very old, modest but beautiful, not modest in its history or its stature or its energy, but in terms of its size, because the castles that were built that long ago were in Ireland, came up for sale on 22.5 acres or so, and we ended up becoming stewards is the way we're positioning it, but I suppose purchasing it legally. But I suppose if I reflect back on what needed to happen, leaving the details, the legals, the financials and everything else aside, what needed to happen was we wanted, I think it's really important to have something that you want, to have a desire, to have call it a goal, an aspiration, a dream, a physical location, not just for ourselves, our family, but also for the work that we do. So call that home, because I think home is something that can mean so much and sometimes means different things to different people. So we wanted a home, and Ireland was very important to us. And regardless of the fact that we had an amazing time in Canada, an amazing time in the United States, and the US and Canada will always be a part of our futures, particularly Canada because our kids were born there. Ireland was calling in its own way, and what we needed to do was have a desire, have an outcome, have something that we wanted, but without getting too attached to it, because every time I got attached to a particular property that came up in this little area, which is, it's so hard to buy property here, I get attached to the outcome, and that energy wouldn't work, and it was forced, and it was just working too hard. And yet I was getting increasingly frustrated because it wasn't working out, or at least it didn't appear to be working out. And it's easy for people who, have their dream property or whatever to say, if it's not meant to happen, it's not meant to happen for a reason. And sometimes you want to take people's heads off that say that, because it just, it doesn't make sense, or it doesn't necessarily alleviate the stress or the frustration you sometimes have. And then I finally just let go completely. But I'd missed one key step. I had a desire and an outcome. I had let go of the desire finally for it to happen at all. And I finally said, you know what, we're probably just not meant to have a property in this area. It's just not meant to be. And what we didn't do was let go of the situation we were in. And we were living in Boulder, Colorado. And I hadn't let go of that, or my family hadn't let go of that. And finally, we finally said, listen, what if we didn't come back to Boulder? What if this is not the place for us? And we finally gave ourselves permission to contemplate that this is maybe not the place for us. Did this property come up online, and then the circumstances, the situation, the things that had to unfold, the things that had to kind of go quote unquote wrong for it to happen, which I'll talk about a different day, was something that just comical, like just almost like unbelievable. So that's the key. It's about having a desire, having an outcome, not being too attached to it, and then willing to challenge and let go of the very circumstances you're in. And I think that's the perfect kind of trilogy, the perfect kind of triad, the coming together of those three energies, those three invitations, those three elements are the things that I think set you up the most for the things that are meant to happen, and the universe to conspire to support it. So hopefully that message makes sense. I'll leave you with the view that I'm looking at right now. Take care, guys and girls. Bye.